Hello, welcome and welcome back. This is Jacob and today we are gonna be continuing and finishing off the narration and character voicing for the What the Firelight cast side story in Arknights. As always, if you're new to the channel and this is the first time you're bumping into one of these narrations through this episode, playlist for this entire narration is in the description of the video, very top link. You will find it very easily if you want to start from episode 1. And also, if you are new to Arknights, I would highly recommend listening to the beginning where I talk about what is important to, well, very important to go through before going through this this side story, considering that yes, this side story is very heavily linked to the main story. So refer to episode 1 of this narration to that very thing. Outside of that, thank you very much for the likes on the previous episode. They mean a lot and help a lot, so thank you for supporting me. And finally, for those of you who want to skip the rest of this intro with the recap of the previous part, timestamp is in the comment section below, pinned comment. As always, hit it and you will be right at the stages. So then, let us begin proper with on the previous part. So, we saw our group of refugees and Reed, Shen and Bagpipe finally reach what appear to be Dublin forces, but these ones were more amongst the Walking Dead kind. Dead soldiers who were being only propped up by the power of arts. However, amongst those soldiers, Salmon does recognize one single individual out of the group, and that is her very own brother. Later, Salmon stands pretty much face to face with her brother, and at the final moment is being saved by none other than Reed, who steps in to use her own arts to dispel the arts that are keeping the soldiers on their feet, rescuing Salmon, and Salmon herself then confides into Reed and tells her about her background story, where she and her brother were trying to join the Dublin forces some years ago. Her brother did manage, as we can definitely see, join Dublin, but she ran away at the final moments and has been continuously in pursuit to try and find her brother for a long time now. Sometime later, the group finally settles down a bit next to a forest. Leaving the Skathanan fields behind, they finally got some tents and some supplies from Rhode Island that Reed contacted sometime earlier, and they have a nice and cozy evening with song and laughter, and are enjoying themselves for the first time in quite some while. But unbeknownst to them, Fisher, who was in pursuit of Reed, finally catches up to all of them and surrounds the tents with a lot of soldiers essentially. He suppresses everybody there with the soldiers and himself and the fog that he's producing with his arts and isolates Reed to have her interrogated by himself, while Shen and Bagpipe have to stand on the sidelines because of a decree that Fisher is working under. And the refugees get separated from everybody as well, bit away from the tents in the beginning of the forest, tied up and watched over by the Victorian soldiers. However, Harmonie, on the other hand, together with the Brigadier, is closing in as well on their position, following their tracks, because even though she will be exposed for doing what she's doing at the moment, she's there to rescue Reed. And then later, the refugees managed to actually free themselves by none other than Fion's help, who managed to get his restraints off. The refugees tie themselves loose, start running, but at the very final moment they stop, turn around, arm themselves with whatever they can find, while also running back to rescue Reed. And that is pretty much where we left off last time. So then, let us continue with today's part, shall we? Alright then. So, today we shall continue on here from stage 7 until the very end, like I said. So, as per usual, battle stages will be included here, considering that both 7 and 8 have unique enemies to fight, so both battle stages will be included in today's narration, as I usually do those, and they will be handled as per usual, meaning we are gonna go through the story prior to the stage, then a description of the unit that is important to the stage itself, and then follow up with the after story. And obviously, considering this is also a final part, I don't think I have to say it, but once we are done today, I will also talk a bit about the story, characters, and stuff like that, as per usual. But that will be for the end. For now, let us begin with stage 7, titled Soul Spark. The sparks leave no trace on the cold steel. Jumping a bit back in time, once more. Young bard, I cannot give you an answer. Let those who come after give it. Now, as it just so happens, I have one more matter of vital importance to relay to you all tonight. I'm afraid this will be the clan of Taran's final gathering. Well now, what are you saying, your lordship? Hasn't our cause only just begun? Fret not. It is true that the cause of we Tarans to seek who we are is fresh and anew. What will cease to exist is merely the humble little gathering that I lead as an individual. Isn't that right, my dear loyal servant? My apologies. I'm but a servant. I don't presume to understand. It's snowing heavily outside. Your body is frail. I can ready the car for you at any moment. No need. Mr. Williams, would you share a walk with me on this snowy field day? It would be my honor. The inn I'm staying in had no firewood to begin with. There isn't much left for the snow to hinder. Really? I see. Yes, I never did prevent City Council from imposing winter taxes on the Taran districts. Everyone deserves at least a warm fire on a chilly day like this. Come, maybe we can chat some more about your creations, the stories you collected in these villages, and what Tara should have been. Back to present time. May death connect us with all legends. Quiet. Did you hear those footsteps? They sound heavy. That'll be pretty tough for soldiers. Move. This way. We'll hide in the other direction. The campfire's still burning. I can take a piece of timber as a torch. Alright, I'll go with you to fetch it in a moment. Hey, Reed! You hear me? Reed! There's no response. Quick, hide over here. We'll split into 2 groups in a minute. Then, look for her. And even if we can't find her, we need to find Bagpipe and Shen. You dare interfere with a military operation. Something wrong? If I can't shake you, I'll fight you. Not like I haven't scrapped with you Victorian soldiers before. Reed. Cry after cry cuts through the smoke and mist. Reed knows the way she should go. They shouldn't be dragged into this conflict. I have to help them. Unfortunate. A few inches shy. Flashback. I recall having reported to the leader about this, but not anyone else. You can't possibly be so naive as to think you're the only one in Dublin to form your own intelligence network. If you were to bring that puppet back, I'm afraid there is no course of action more suitable at present than mobilizing my squadron.
My, how grateful I am then. Are you seeking to supervise my work, or is it more that you'd like to eliminate her yourself?
Should she refuse her identity as a shadow, my blade will be faster than your arts. I've seen how diverse viewpoints can be in this masterless Victoria. There is no need for Dublin to continue staging such a charade.
If you've come to kill me, does that mean Dublin is prepared?
You are the only uncertainty left. I thought that as a puppet, you would at least learn how to think, at least pretend. I thought you'd have the capacity to set your sights farther. It is disappointing, however, to see your foolish kindness. If you had followed the Spectre Force's code of operations from the start and eliminated all witnesses, things would not have taken one wrong turn after another. The situation we find ourselves in now would never have developed. A second wound, far from enough to stop a Draco in her tracks. But I'm sure you know that even though no other Dublin militant is abound your way, this remains a one-sided battle. I cannot see what right you have to instigate this petty coup d'etat against the leader.
Hey, hello! The Taran civilians are down this direction. If Bagpipe and Reed hear the shouts, they'll definitely break through this way too. Hang in there, I'm coming! Shen? Thank God someone finally responded. That was fast. Where did that come from?
Shen Yushi, Superintendent Shen. Shen thrusts in the direction of the voice, only to find her blade hitting nothing but thick fog. She feels a chill. Have you ever considered the troubles you could bring Wei and Wu by attacking the Victorian army here?
I'm doing this because I want to. What does this have to do with him? I'm simply rescuing the innocents who were dragged into this conflict. If you're going to criticize my actions from a diplomatic angle, I suggest you reflect on your own first.
You may be attempting to gloss over how complicated these events truly are. That said, I still have a question for you. Take your time to answer, though. Why did you come to Victoria? Or perhaps I should ask, who did you come to Victoria for?
My upbringing, my family, and my personal grudges have nothing to do with the conflict unfolding before us right now. At this moment, no matter what you suspect, I will only answer with the blade hold in my hand. Now, back off. Found you, Mr. Fisher.
You don't seem to have come for peace talks. Dublin's forces are right before us. I'm sure you know who your enemy is here.
Sorry, but my mission's to rescue everyone. You had your forces planted in advance, and you've got Art's protection. There's no breaking through this for us if we don't get rid of the mist.
You can try to stop me then. Neutralize her. Don't waste any time. Understood!
If only I had some ammo on me. Going to be right pain dealing with multiple at once.
2nd Tempest Platoon member Fiona Young, codename Bagpipe. Now quickly I want to stop here just for a moment. I didn't want to look it up because I always try to avoid spoilers as much as possible, but is this the first time that Bagpipe's full name came up? Because I can't remember. If there was a story that I already narrated through, look, it's a lot. Let's not kid ourselves, there's a lot, and my memory for names is shit. But did her full name come up at any given point before, or is this the first time? If someone knows, do leave me a comment, please. Thank you very much. Continuing. I've read every single report you submitted on the County Hillock incident. You have my utmost respect for your actions. If at all possible, we should be joining forces, not pointing our weapons at one another. And considering you're still investigating the truth behind the County Hillock incident, we can allow standard procedure and interrogate any and all Dublin personnel we capture here and give you any information you want.
I'll pass. I'm bad at telling if someone's lying or not, and I'm not the best at interrogation either.
As a show of sincerity, I can give you a single piece of information right now. The Red Steel Guard. You know who they are, don't you? Now, take notice of the combat style of the Dublin forces here tonight.
Oh, I think visibility improved a bit just now. I reckon keeping our Regini marts like this going got to take a toll, right?
Not such a toll that it would affect my plan, and I won't allow anyone to get in its way either, of course. You could say that this war belongs to we, the intelligence workers. There won't be a single misstep from me. I strive to ensure true war does not break out, and millions continue to live in peace.
No, see, sure, missions end good or bad, but right or wrong, that's hard to judge.
A rock?
Oh, Mr. Fion, why'd you come all the way out here on your lonesome? It's dangerous.
I don't know. I got lost in the mist.
Look, I'm not joking, I mean dangerous. Hurry up and leave.
I know, but I have to help. Some of them are in even greater danger. It's fine, I can handle myself. You really don't need to worry about me. I can knock out a man at a time with this hoe here. You lot, you're armed with nothing but scavenged pickups, broken swords and dual sabers. Who are you to stand in our way?
Huh, you got out to capture our leader. Who are you to say we can and can't do?
Leader? So you really are...
Working together? That's right. Why else would we come here to rescue her? She can fight, and she can guide away when we leg it. We need her.
Trying a rear ambush? Nice one, Morin.
No luck. I can't pierce the armor with this dull knife. Hey, don't use your torch. Your timber is not even oiled. It'll go out easily.
Bloody hell! All she catches sight of is the soldier's burned arm. He swings his military saber, his face a mix of agony and anger. The saber swipes past her hand, cleaving the torch in two. The lit end falls into the mud and goes out softly in a puff of smoke.
Ha! Okay, not bad. Now he's gonna have trouble with his blade. Here, I'll hold on to you. Hey, how much stronger can you hold that, you think? Don't push yourself.
Don't make me laugh. You can resist a little, what else?
Salmon, leave me be. I hear a few more coming this way. You hear that too, don't you?
I do. Torrents?
Us? That's right. But I took these rags from someone dead. I'm not with your group.
Best leave Torrents. Go somewhere safe.
I never said I wanted to make an enemy of her. I want to correct the mistakes she made. Nothing more.
You seek moralistic perfection in the face of war. Then be the coward and hypocrite you are. Find yourself coursed again like in Hillock. Betrayed again like in Peninsula. The blade tears the night wind asunder. the sharp clang of metal, and the interrogative of the officer lunge as one at Reed. But she doesn't listen. She can hear wails far sharper in the winds. She knows there are defenseless Tarans shedding blood in this conflict, falling right this moment. She could call out the names of each and every one of those wailing. It was but a few hours ago when she'd hear their voices sing the folk songs of home.
She simply cannot hear their cries. Have you ever asked yourself who the Tarans you're saving are? Fire? You guys, watch out for Reed's Originium art. She's very powerful right now, but these flames don't seem like her own. Adreka's flames are beautiful, wouldn't you agree?
They do not exceed what I anticipated, Harmony.
Still, we do have a poor soul right here stupefied by the show. It's too bad, really. You don't know me yet, just like you never got to properly know your friend next to you there. But thanks are due, I will say, for you putting up such a diligent fight against this Victorian squad. His arts are deluded enough not to impact our giving chase now. It's like, how did he look again? The more valiant you are, the sorrier I feel for you. The battle here is over, so you're free to go now. Dublinn won't lay a finger on you. They could even escort you if you'd like. I'll pass.
What's she saying? Bagpipe, do you know her? Are we fighting her or not?
No. Let's go. We need to fetch Reed.
You're very kind to her.
Of course I would have silenced her if it wasn't for the Taran next to her. Still, if she can make our Draco realize she has nowhere to belong but Dublin, then that's all the better.
Your forces seem to have assembled towards my end now.
Indeed, the poor child's fleeing northwest under our pursuit.
Much further, and she'll be in the heart of Duke Wellington's domain.
Once she's there, everything she does will be under Dublin's thumb. So the priority right now is, shall we say, dealing with everyone who knows too much? In the unlikely event you live to send back intel, it won't be much more than what your death itself would have told them. Salmon, slow down. I'm having trouble keeping up. Where are we?
Must have run about 200 meters into the woods from the camp. Huh. Gave that soldier a good drubbing. Now none of them are hounding us. We're safe here. I'll treat my injuries first, then I'll head back and tell everyone to come this way and meet up with you. People with Fion's nav skills shouldn't be sticking around so long on the battlefield. Ought to be fighters like me. You're miles better at fighting than he is, too.
Salmon, there's a huge din behind us. What happened? All I can see is a faint glow.
Huh. Rotten shame you don't get to see proper. It's the fire from Reed's arts, no doubt about it.
Is it a fine sight?
But, well, I've known all along she was capable of that. Was night always this cold out in the wilds? Suppose you're willing to light your fire. Will that make it a little warmer? A little brighter? I don't know why you're disappointed in Dublin or why they're disappointed in you. The Tarans want to survive. They should survive. It's the simplest logic. How can any of it be a lie? Before you leave the group, I need to talk to you about the whole going to Dublin thing.
You would know the way, right? Morin will head forward a little more. It'll be safer that way. Don't be afraid. It's all muddy here. If those soldiers retreat, they won't be coming this way. Besides, the sun should be up, or should be almost up. Their step finally slows. Morin no longer staggers trying to keep up. Salmon, are we somewhere safe now? I'm not afraid of bad news. Tell me. They walk forward. Amongst the howl of the wind, distant explosions, and the cries, Morin tries her hardest to discern the sound of salmon. There should have been some forewarning in that moment. Salmon should have stopped in her tracks, said something. At the very least, a scornful cackle at the fate of the Tarrants. But what Morin feels is simple. A step made, and the hand in hers falls, all of a sudden. And she stoops and cannot tell if what she feels is thick blood or wet mud. And this is where we go into our battle stage. But before we do so, we shall add the intel of the enemy that we shall be facing, of course. First and foremost, among the new units here, we have the Dublin Spec Ops, a soldier under the command of the Brigadier. Specializing in ambushes and assaults, they are well disciplined and completely devoted to the cause. And of course, our special unit here is the Brigadier. A senior Dublin officer and captain of the Red Steel Guard, with a blade tempered by the flames of war, he cuts through the chaos to find the order he has set his mind on. So then, I will not talk over the stage. I will let it run as per usual that I do on double speed until the boss appears, and then once the boss is gone, let it run on double speed again. So then, let's begin.
長っす今度こそもう救援なんていらないもんなこれで W もイネスも文句ないっしょ
Alright, and for anybody wondering what the heck this team was, it was just a trust farm team, so don't worry about that. However, let us continue with the after part. Wait a moment, Harmony. Something is unusual about the amount of station troops ahead at the carriageway checkpoint. You noticed, I had coincidentally asked them to look out on the premise of possible incidents that might damage relationships between the dukes. Hence you rounding them up before they left County Trent territory, so that your backup plan would be at all effective. Not a surprise in whole. Subordinate of Duke Wellington, commanding officer of the Red Steel Guard, an identity that will cease to threaten you very soon, of course. That said, you understand at the very least that any further pursuit would become a territorial dispute of Duke against Duke. Given Victoria's present situation, I can only say no one would want to see such a clash happen.
My oh my, why do you never leave me any room to choose? Still, it's more than enough for me. My mission is complete as is.
You own these repercussions. Your blunder caused them. You have no need to keep your bluff up so dutifully, being the exposed spy you are.
Really, you know, I was hoping from my heart of hearts that we'd strive in common minds to work together someday.
Harmony! You've spoken enough. All forces pull back. This was a losing battle to begin with. We'll let them go. I warned you, Fisher. Once your apathy progresses past a certain degree, the painkillers don't work anymore. You're in this state because of your own extended use of arts. I am patently aware. Alright, I apologize if I went too far. No, I was just thinking. I didn't expect the venerable Duke of Castor would send a Trilby Ashel here. I haven't even a clue at which point the Duke's emissary replaced my men. Did we make it out?
Yeah, I don't see anyone giving chase. Let's stop here and check on everyone's injuries. Best to take care of them ASAP. We lost some of our companions. We'll wait here a moment. Some of them got lost in the smoke. Maybe they're still hiding in the woods. You told them you were headed in this direction. If they still remember, they'll come looking. We'll only be stopped for a short while here. It'll be daybreak soon. I won't delay your travels. You can all set your weapons down and rest for the moment. Bagpipe?
Reed! So you were the caster in County Hillock. You were the one controlling that fire. I recognize your arts. You turned an entire street to ashes. You had Outcast sacrifice herself for you. You're the leader of Dublin, aren't you? Everyone looks at her, awaiting her response. She's been asked this question many a time in the past. Each time, she has to try so hard just to hold back the urge to shake her head. But now she remembers the feel of the hay and the taste of the evening breeze. She remembers the campfire flickering in front of the tents, how it was all its own, nothing like the fire that danced at her spear's tip. She remembers the thick smoke afar that has yet to clear, and the shouts and the cries unrelenting, almost still echoing. Here she no longer wants to shake her head.
I am. In County Hillock, I hoped that through death I'd forever escape my identity. That's why I didn't hide when the Originium bombs came falling. Since being rescued by Rhode Island, I've tried for the sake of my own fate to recover something. That's why I came on this journey, in an attempt to heal some of the scars left by the violence of Dublin. But, right this moment, this is my only answer to your question. I am. The people who died because of Dublin, the Tyrants. Didn't Dublin deceive them? I would have once said that their lives were no more than fuel for Dublin's fire. That for the greater good, to rebel against the injustice all Tyrants face, the fire must burn hot and bright. But after Outcast saved me, and I retraced the paths I walked, I haven't been able to say that anymore. In reality, some of those deaths had to have been avoidable. I cannot say that every sacrifice was a martyr for Dublin's case. The Tyrants are all people, each of them living, each of them alive. I remember the mistakes Dublin made, especially the ones by my own hands. I'll make no attempt to conceal these ugly scars. There's also the Red Steel Guard. The Dublin soldiers trying to take you away here. They're the Duke of Wellington's men. Are you just the Duke's private army? No. Dublin is manipulated by no power, nor should we be. If anything, it'll be the Tyrants who want a peaceful home, a land they can walk freely, one and all. But you're terrified of Dublin. If Dublin truly is what you say, if it fights for the Tyrants, then what is it you're scared of? What am I scared of? Your imagination of Dublin is all well and good, but fact is, it's still filled to the brim with rioters, conspirators, people who can't hold control over. They even threw you, of all people, away for dead, didn't they? I won't deny that what many see in Dublin's Firelight is not a path for the Tyrants, but their own future. I'm sure that as the Victorians laid each brick and stone to build their homeland, they wouldn't have thought it was for Victoria as a whole either. But in the end, the Victorians have a homeland. They can build and tend their lands in peace, yet when the Tyrants want to live, they bleed rivers for it. I don't want to see anyone bleeding. Yes, I'm afraid. I'm afraid of the bleeding. I'm afraid of death. That's why I always wanted to hide. Unthinking, unfeeling, just like a shadow. But does it make things good enough? Why is blood still shed where I cannot see? Read. Bagpipe, you've been asking me time and again where I'm taking these Tyrants. Let me ask you now, is Dublin's dream an unachievable one?
Bagpipe rarely ever feels disappointment. It's crossed her mind how her reports will never make it to the right person, and how her friends in arms died meaningless deaths in conflicts long premeditated. It crossed her mind, should she ever come across Dublin again, how she'd dismantle their plot and protect the innocent citizenry within their grasp. But now she sees how the County Hillock incident was nothing more than two dukes testing one another, and she sees how lost and stricken the eyes of the Tyrants are, there behind Reed, emerging from the flames of war. She can't say for sure what it is she's disappointed in. She doesn't know if she can still get any answers from Reed. For much the same reason, she can't give Reed's question any reply.
Let's go, Shen. Huh? My mission's to investigate the truth behind Dublin, and now I've heard it from Dublin's leader herself. And from what it sounds like, Operator Reed won't be coming back with us to Rhode Island for the moment. She's got her own business to take care of, and so do we. Alright.
Bagpipe.
Fionn?
This is for you.
The radio?
You'll be making through the Barrens, won't you? Take this radio with you. You might catch some useful news.
You don't need it anymore?
The news is always same old for the Tarrants, isn't it? Bagpipe, we really are thankful to you and Shen and the Rhode Island. Thank you for your tents and your assistance along the way. And, farewell.
Slán Lat, Fionn. Goodbye for now.
The old radio buzzes in Bagpipe's hand. Unconsciously, her grip relaxes, ever so slightly.
Take care.
Karen, Virgil, and you and me, just the 8 of us left now. I suppose it's easier to run with fewer of us.
Please check for me if there's any more clean gauze in the box.
Okay. Here.
I'll remove the gauze on your wound now. This will hurt.
Hey, Fionn. Not so afraid of blood no more? Huh? Oh, no, yeah. I've seen so much blood lately. Pointless being scared anymore. Say, Reed, is Bagpipe really just going now? Aren't you two friends?
Perhaps come a day we will be, but not for now.
I suppose. I was just thinking, I know we were bound to go our separate ways, but you should have had a proper goodbye with them. Everyone should have a proper goodbye. Hey, it's Moran! They see Moran, eyes grasping on the faint light of daybreak, limping in their direction. Held tight in her grip is a broken sword and a blood-soaked bandana.
Is that Salmon's? Moran? What happened to her?
Moran just shakes her head in silence.
I'm sorry. I know you can't have seen.
Far away in the woods, remnant fumes from the flames of war still rise gently for the sky. All those who did not come back now lay in the woods, just as Salmon does. No one in time to see them in their final moments. The survivors stare in silence at the drifting smoke.
They all just don't know which way to go. In these Cathanan fields, in Hillock, in Oak Grove.
She has seen fire, great and profuse. Be it anywhere, there are those who scheme of war and disaster, vying for power and prestige. She has seen the ordinary soul struggling amidst it all, only to die without rhyme or reason. She raises her hand, and from a Draco's flame, a faintest flower is born. The feel of holding a flame still makes her tremble, pains her insides to no end, but no more does she shut her eyes.
For all those who pull themselves up from this land of mud,
and the flower floats down and sinks into the wetlands, there to wither without sound in the mire. And we shall continue after that to the cutscene stage ST-2 From the Ashes. The survivors of the conflagration go their separate way. Harmonie's status as a spy has been confirmed, but the intelligence personnel she planted have all evacuated in advance under her cover. The infected is indeed another Draco. Where she's headed is within our grasp. As soon as you give the orders, my team will continue our pursuit. On another note, pardon me for asking, but to the one listening to this report from behind the scenes, are you the head or the Duke herself?
Very sharp of you. I don't remember how many years it's been since I last met a youth who could single that out. Pardon me, I'd just like to enjoy this cup of tea first. Come, take a seat.
No, being infected, I'm best off standing here.
When you came, did you see the little theater on the street corner?
Yes, I did. It wasn't open and no suspicious persons were loitering there.
That theater was built by a group of self-proclaimed Taran artists. Every night they put on plays on Taran culture there.
Do you need me to investigate them?
No, their existence is one I much admire. As for capturing the Draco, you needn't worry. I'll have someone else take care of it. The intelligence you brought is highly valuable. Given your talents, we shouldn't be wasting your time on cleanup work. I would like you to surveil the Duke of Wellington's movements from a specified location.
Understood. I thank you for your appreciation.
Oh, yes, and for our prior question, have you decided on your answer?
Hi, Miss Messenger. How far can you deliver letters? As far as you want? Could you help me write one then? Just a word or two. I just want to let my family know I'm still alive.
I'm sure you heard the farmer just now. Caravans pass through this area regularly. There'll be one in half an hour. Follow the caravan, and if you can hide in their transports, all the better. The regions around County Oak Grove should be the Duke of Wellington's territory. He won't permit transgressions against the Tarans. You'll be in grave danger if you miss this chance. The search team will make their way here from the nearest nomadic city as quickly as they can. It won't take them even an hour. But if you manage to make it out, you won't have to worry about your future. It's me who they're after. If they lose track of you, they won't pursue you any further.
Wait, so when Bagpipe said you were Dublin's leader, that wasn't just me hearing things?
Yes. If any of you still want to fight alongside Dublin, you can come with me. But Dublin's name won't shield you, and the road ahead may be much the same as what we're experiencing now. Monitored by many, continually chased.
Hey, I'm back. Did what you said and talked to her. Said everyone who escaped the village with me decided to settle down here and made up a place name that doesn't exist in the Scathanan fields. Still, the messenger seemed a nice lass though. If she is an actual messenger, not just someone here to investigate us, we'd be sending her on this trip in vain, no?
I've spent most of my life in hiding. I've seen plenty of people in pursuit, disguising themselves as messengers.
Alright, suppose that's how it is from now on. Stop sighing so much, we need to divvy up our supplies while we've still got the time. And you're hurt, don't force yourself to go with Reed. We'll fight the Tarans fight for you.
I count as having fought for the Tyrants then, huh? Read, a moment. Something I need to tell you. I'd wrote about it in my will, but, well, I survived, so... What is it? You see, I was the one who bashed a soldier with the hoe. I'm the reason everyone has to go on the run. That night, I saw him beating the Tulis's little girl, so I picked up a hoe someone set aside and beat him on the head. I'm shaking her and I really am sorry. It's been so long and I still dream about it. She was only 14 when she was screaming, crying, and it got to me. I know, I figured it was so dark out, no lamps allowed and all, so it didn't matter if it might have cracked his skull and shed some blood. Wouldn't have seen it no matter how bad it was. I just didn't expect I'd mess this up for so many people. Afterwards I thought I'd go with them and try to help everyone settle down, and then I'd leave to atone for my mistakes. But some of us never made it, in the end, to a place we could settle down. Did you make up the charge about having your papers? Did you make up the charge about not having your papers in order? I'm sorry. I was worried they'd be suspicious when I wasn't on the wanted posters initially. That's why I went to the pharmacy with Virgil, and then I dragged you into this mess too. Don't say that, Fionn. My identity was bound to catch up to me one day. And the tyrant's sorrow is bound to catch up to everyone one day. Alright. Hey, Moran, do you want to, What is it, Fionn? No, nothing. Here, pass me the rope. You won't get very far tying up your luggage up like that. Fine, you're the expert. So you're following Reed into the fight? Salmon said I've got the strength to get a lot of things done for them. But you can't see when there's no light. That'll be hard on you. Besides, it's war we're talking about. You'll face far greater enemies than we did that night. The cannons too. War isn't like the place where the heroes take a cut, bleed a drop, fall and climb back up. In real life, people die the ugliest deaths in no time. But this is the path I want to choose. I rarely ever get the chance to choose, and I want to take it. The caravan's coming in. Okay, I'll negotiate with them to carry the injured. Reed, can I go? Can I leave the way I am now? I believe everything is prepared. All that's left... Pardon. I believe everything is prepared. All that's left is my little sister. She is still lost at a crossroads, but she will make the right decision in the end.
Top deck of the high-speed battleship Gestrel.
A rip taken from what was once the greatest nomadic city, furnished with the crystallization of the Victorian military's technology prowess. Most should be proud of having the privilege to board this battleship. Even across all of Terra, I doubt there exists a military machine as worthy of admiration as this.
I expect no less from something bearing the name of a legendary officer under the Draco.
I'm sure many have sought to track it, trying to fathom where you stand. But after a 7-year journey, today is finally the day it comes to shore.
How many messengers are on the way to report the news of our change of course? The Duke of Castor and many others besides are paying close attention, but none of their armies will be able to interfere in time. County Oak Grove has stopped sailing and is ready to link. This is the first time in 7 years our ship comes anywhere close to a nomadic city, but there will be little resupply or maintenance needed while we're docked. His lordship has indicated he'll personally receive you at the dock.
Those Aslan lapdogs. So hesitant, so indolent. They may never even find out who the city truly belongs to until the ship has made it to County Oak Grove.
And they have no idea of the fires that will rise again thence. Dublin's army and Tarans who thirst to be released from this injustice have made their way here from every part of Victoria. My strategist has done very well.
Has my city stopped where I hoped it to?
Yes, given terrain limitations and safety considerations, this is the position closest to the ruins that this city's course can reach.
What do you think, Princess Eblana? You paid those ruins a visit on your way here.
I think this will suffice. It doesn't matter how highly those who clamor for the restoration of Taran culture think of King Gale's palace. It's ultimately no more than a decaying ruins. When the time comes, the romanticist dreamers needed only catch one glimpse of it through the wild morning mist, and it will sink in that what once stood atop the hills perished in catastrophe. That will do.
From what I hear, once the Taran dynasty fell and the Dracos fled, the Aslans left that castle stand empty until the day catastrophe claimed it. The Tarans have all but forgotten.
The remnants of that olden dynasty were never of any intrigue to begin with. The title of King Gale was bestowed upon him by Victoria's regent. He was no more than a mere celebrated servant. If this crown was still extant, I would destroy it. If his throne still remained, I would render it ashes. But the palace lacks even those to speak of.
Hence why the young Warwick sought to rediscover Taran history starting from the legend of King Gale. A fine thing to do, really.
You mean the eulogist, Warwick, the Warwick of the Northern Front? Oh, so you knew him?
I once sent an envoy to one of his parties. This battleship began its patrol right around that time.
You've always been of great foresight.
I'd hardly call it much of a long wait. County Oak Grove. Say, are you keen on seeing it for yourself?
Of course. I'm very curious how it's rebuilt itself since that great fire. After all, I once called it home. My elder sister's spear in hand, I stand in the hallway for some time. Everyone in the manor hangs their heads in silence, trying to keep busy. The moment they see me, they avert their gaze. Our teacher's health has been poor. He hasn't left his room since making his way back through a snowstorm for a dinner party. Dr. Dale readied him the mulled wine, yet hasn't been punctual in fetching the empty glass. The muted sounds of crackling wood seep through the gaps in the door. The fireplace must be a bed of warmth on the snowy night, but the flame's eerie silence makes my teeth chatter. Nonetheless, I open the door.
Now that you've convinced everyone to turn against me, why shouldn't I partake in this glass of wine?
I thought you would want to know what your missteps were, such that your servants would seek help from me.
This is no matter, Eblana. What is important is, can you continue to hold their trust?
Yes, of course. And I see you don't ask why I would agree to help them.
I'm sure you know what's going to happen to the city once I'm gone. the balance of power between the nobles will be lost, and no one will dare to oppose Count Philip in Parliament. Still, our own 2 junior barons will no doubt set to work in the shadows, so as to earn the Duke of Stafford's favor. And simultaneously, the Tarrants who have just rediscovered their names will lose their leader and protector. They will continue to be upheaved, trodden down by the harsh rule of law and the nobles, to the point they cannot bear it. Yet even if you live, all the bloodshed, the violence, the rioting would happen sooner or later. Wouldn't you say, sir?
And what will you do when the time comes?
I will reach my hand out and drag them up from the ashes. For some unknown reason, a satisfied smile appears on his pale face.
The insatiable Dracos, their ambitions knowing no bounds. Half my life spent searching. It was not in vain.
He removes his spectacles and with a slow, arduous turn, faces out through the window out to the snowstorm. That gaze, filled with fond nostalgia and earnest expectations, is the same as the one that winter night 10 years ago, the night he finished reading the legend, the night his fingers brushed across the Terran letters embossed in gold upon the book's spine.
I see a new age belonging to the Tarrants right in front of us. Oh, but Loughshinny, and you... oh.
I stand motionless in the doorway. Reflected on the glass pane is my face, illuminated by the cold flames around us. Though filled with fear, our pitiful expressions are one and the same. Loughshinny, whose student will you be?
And we move on to stage number 8, titled Her Shadow. It is my defeat that you want. Pardon, is it my defeat that you want, Loughshinny? I cast my heart into my rhymes, that you, in the dim coming times, may know how my heart went with them after the red rose bordered hem. I knew they wouldn't come looking for anyone under a pile of catastrophe rubble. We have that thick mist this morning to thank. Wouldn't have made it out so easily otherwise.
Careful. We don't have any protective equipment. There's a risk of infection here if we get hurt. You too, Morin. Originium-rich environments are especially dangerous to infected. Noted. I'll watch out. Is Karen asleep? I think she's just fallen asleep, yes. It wasn't fainting. Her breathing's very calm, I can tell. Sleep will ease her pain, if only by a little. But I still worry she might not make it if we don't stop to take care of her injury soon. Are any of you disappointed? Why would we be? Didn't you say so yourself? We've got to fight with Dublin forces because they don't want a second leader. But they've got grander goals. They won't keep making chase. We're used to a life of running at this point. We can bear with it. What about after, though? You still haven't told us what you're thinking for them. I don't have a very good idea yet. I'm sorry. Right, there might be fewer originium crystals deeper into the ruins. I want to take a look and see if we can hide ourselves anywhere for the moment. It's about time we all stopped for some rest. But aren't there people over that way? They seem like normal folk, but we should steer clear anyhow. You said yourself, it's strange there's people in a place like this. We need to be careful. No need. You seem so afraid. What's the matter? I'm fine. Please don't worry about me. She's come here before? Is she nearby?
Hey, the one over there is walking kind of strange, isn't she?
Don't look.
Oh lord, she
probably died some time ago. Her body's just being controlled by arts, like the Dublin soldier we saw before. Why would they control a civilian? I'm not sure yet. Come with me. I'll handle these dead. It's very dim here. Follow the stone steps. Watch out for any shards of raw crystals as you go down. Morin, are you sure you can... you're okay carrying Karen on your back? I'm fine. As long as your flame's lit, I can see where I'm going. Okay, we'll head in as deep as we can. Try not to be too loud. It's...
King Gale's castle? When the topic of that overthrown dynasty arises, some think of the piles upon piles of armor from fallen soldiers, while others claim its golden crown still hides beneath elaborate mechanisms deep within the ancient forest. Some see the towering walls of modern Victoria as a foil to the castle's vastness, paralleling the boundless inland sea of Claricide with the virtuous prosperity of the Age of Heroes, while at the same time lamenting its passing decay under the shadow of Victoria. All have envisioned this ancient castle as a sorrowful tombstone of Tara, the ghost of resentment. But it merely sits silent on top of the hill, bearing this place's heart as it was before the palace stood. Overgrown with weeds, covered in vines. How old is all this? 500 years? 1,000?
Shh, don't wake Karen up.
Sorry, I'm just a little shook. No, bowled over really. Tell you the truth, we put on productions of different King Gale stories each year. We know we're descendants of the Kingdom of Tara. We know that's why we're called Tarans.
But no one used to believe it could all actually be true. There was even a legend of a forge which fused together the weapons of every Taran soldier and overturned the fate of the dynasty. A long time ago, I met a man from the city who was searching all over for a traveling bard. He said to me, though many legends were made up by later generations, there must still be the traces of history left in those stories. Reed, you must know plenty about that, don't you? Are you not fond of this place? You've been quiet ever since we came in here. Maybe. When I was very young, I often read about the legends of Tara, until I drifted to sleep. Be it the Victorian royal family's scribes, or those who wish to preserve Taran culture, they always write that it is the Draco's nature to fight.
Legends say that the first Draco to lead the Gales boiled dry the waters of the river to travel south, to flee his clan that slaughtered each other over the throne, and settle the lands that came to be Tara. And legends say the Victoria's Red Dragon, the one who slayed the last nomadic Draco leader, gave his firstborn the title of King Gale while he still burbled in the cradle. And legends say the Draco of Tara was thereupon imprisoned in the palace, and though the exiled king cast away his crown and traveled the wilderness for 20 years, upon his return, an audience with the regent, his closest family, still he was murdered.
Tara's history is full of stories like these. The Draco's palaces, teeming with conspiracy and bloodshed. I never longed for or dreamed of this place. I'm scared of it. I'm scared that one day I'll have to fight my sister. At least I don't see any crystal clusters from the catastrophe in here. It should be safe to rest here.
Good then. Here, Morin, let me set Karen down for now.
Let her sleep here, out of the wind. There's cover here and the walls are sturdy. We could light a fire at night and no one outside would notice us.
Wait, where's Reed?
Let her take a look by herself.
I lay down now my soldier's honor here, so that in time the soil of Tara need no longer be soaked in Carmine blood, and Draco cross no swords with Draco kin. Be that unless a day comes whereupon Red Dragon's flames should lead all those that fell, our fighters from the forge to be reborn. Reed hears a faint stir. She pulls back the hand about to touch the rusted equipment before her.
It's alive? It's the sort of thing anyone could activate. Why do you find it so strange someone relit it? She's been through here. It's not strange.
Through a gap she sees a purple flame.
This was the palace of old. She was sure to come, and sure to mock it with laughter, no? That this is all the legendary monarch left us with. Her flames burn here. That's why so many of the deceased here cannot rest in peace. They were simply vagabonds who lost their way and died of thirst too close, awakened by the flames of death for no reason at all. No, stay away. You're scared of that flame too, aren't you? I can see how you want to put it out. Yes, it will bring pain to too many people. But if you truly intend on it, then I won't let you pass. She lit the fire of Dublin. You know the flame you reignite could never be the same. She's done so many terrible things, told so many beautiful lies, but it was all necessary. She summoned thousands of Tarans to follow her lead, be they saints or criminals, nobles or thieves. You could never do it. No, I can. I don't believe that those sacrifices were all necessary, and I will never believe that only her way will save the Tarans.
Before I quickly continue, I want to point out that the Spectre's name that she is talking to is, well, her old self, and the name that we see is Loughshinny.
But she's been the leader since the start, since so long ago, since that great fire in Oak Grove.
She thinks back to the battered, wounded girl who laid there on the street. Reed wanted to pull her up, get her away, but was so afraid that by a reach of the hand, she too would become naught but ashes. And there, her elder sister walked up to the girl's side and asked, "Do you want to live? The sewers are right beside you. Climb down there, and those disgusting nobles will never catch you again." Mandragora. From there she escaped, and to there, in the end, she returned.
While you never did reach your hand to anyone, never pulled anyone up. If I'd reached out to her, then perhaps things would have been different. To be truly saved, she should have learned that there was that there was so much more open to her, so much more than the power of the malefactor, like the arsonist of that day. Yet the fact is, you're so afraid you even fear your own power. unable to do anything but let others control it. That's why they're all disappointed in you. Why you've disappointed even your sister. No, you're wrong. You speak of nothing but the past. I am here now. I have held others' hands in mine. I cannot say it was me that pulled them to their feet, but if they want to walk forward, then my fire will clear the path for them, even if they lead me with them as they go. If she could see all this, I know she wouldn't be disappointed.
The Spectre now is called the Leader, in quotes.
You found your companions by mere chance. In front of them, you act like the capable fighter, the orator who brings all under your banner. You pretend to have your own power. But in reality, you are simply mimicking her. You are nothing, can be nothing, but her shadow. She sees any method through to its extreme, while in the face of her, you are far too hesitant and weak.
The officer that set lights to the Taran district spring to her mind. They were boisterous in ridiculing the Tarans for their arrogance, for their protesting against injustice in Oak Grove, even though they could barely read and write. She knows this is the very thing her sister told their teacher, that this was bound to happen. The Victorians lit the flame of hatred by their own hands. This great fire will burn until all is reduced to nothing. Don't blink, her sister told her. Witness clearly for yourself how our lives are destroyed again and again. Amidst the sea of charred corpses, the Draco who controls the fires of death lifts her hand to cast. A purple, ice-cold blaze immediately consumes the flames that had scorched the dead. The deathly blaze never was a true life-taker. She simply permits they climb from the ashes to take revenge against those who destroyed their homeland.
I have no regrets. I had always once thought she was in the right. We will throw ourselves into the fire, give even our lives as fuel to build the Terran's ideal nation in the end. So I always spoke by her side. But once the fuel has burned away, will there be anyone left in her nation? I've hesitated. We thought, run away. I do not regret it. My flight took me here. I've met people, seen things she's never seen. The things I want to say cannot be what she does. So I will not be afraid of the thought of her again. I will never be trapped within my own shadow. But as you recognize this palace, were you not fearing? I imagine you'd never be able to tell your companions where you are bound, but the answer has long been readied in your heart. If you want to become me, then how will you find your own place within Dublin's dreams? Loughshinny, what do you want?
And in Reed's mind are the dead who walk to them in the great fire.
Stop.
Battered, bruised, scarred beyond recognition, yet with their thirst burning bright in their eyes. Their revenge against the Victorian officers fulfilled, now walking to those who lit their flames.
Walk no longer. You are owned. Your rest.
By the time she reacts, those closest to her have fallen before her, the vacant sockets of their eyes all focused on her. In the fierce flash of her firelight, the deathly flames are extinguished.
I'm sorry, sister. I'm sorry. I did not mean to ruin your arts. You've done well, Loughshinny.
She lifts her head in fear. For the very first time, her sister is smiling on her in commendation.
Truly, very well. Your firelight is such a dazzling one. I always wondered what it would take for you to show your true strength, for you to draw the attentions of all. Display to me your talent once again. Let me see that you truly can drive back my flames. Will you defeat me, my beloved sister?
Well then, it is time to fight our inner demons. So then, on this map we obviously have one new unit, which is the obvious one here, the Leader. Dublin's Leader, the life burning Draco, the fear evoking Shadow. Do not let her close in on you. And as a quick reminder, she is not, and we are not technically on this map fighting the actual Leader. But anyway, let us go in. And like last time, I will go at 2 times speed. Once the Leader appears, I will let the game run on regular speed until, well, she falls. And then we finish it off. So let's begin.
強化する。何を片付ければいい？力と栄光を強化する。行くぞ。お前の命も終わりだ。進め。さあ、私に出会ったのが運の尽きだ。すぐに終わる。
無重が飛び出った草むらに待ち伏せの可能性。
諦めるな。
全て見えている。
作戦開始。
任務はすぐに終わる。
息を吸ってみなさい。首は締めてないわ。
無駄だ。
障害を全てなぎ払うのが嵐の務め。
腰抜け野郎が。諦めるな。
何を片付ければいい？
一気にかかってこい。
そうか。
この程度で止まると思うな。すぐに終わる。
ターゲット確認。すぐに終わらせる。
ドクター、不用意に目立つことはやめましょう。
Alright then, and let us continue with the after part. She considered the possibility of ending it all, even if it meant the fires of the Draco would never die. She'd imagined the flames of wrath bursting from her aching chest, burning away the shell and identity she had been given, liberating her from the shackles of herself. But when she truly went to touch her flames, desiring to hold them, she suddenly wondered if she never had control over them in the first place.
You've done well, Loughshinny. You wanted me to give you my sincere praise. Is this good enough? Or have you prepared yourself by now for the shadow to return to the self, for you to replace me as the leader? I can give you this opportunity. Your next plume of flame will burn me to ashes. Will you reach out to me?
The flames burn, and her shadow sways slightly, but Reed averts her eyes. Not far away, Karen, who just woke up, slowly props herself atop an old apron, and Marin hums as she helps clean her wounds.
Sister, why did you come back? What do you see as you stand here?
The campfire burned bright that night. At the time, Fionn was wandering around begging for a new foothold to get business up and running, and Salmon was wrapping more wire around her weapon. Everyone called her the leader jokingly, but they were serious when they thanked her for bringing them all here.
I heard that King Gale was crowned by the Victorians, and only then did they erect the royal palace over a ceremonial stone circle. Before that, it was first home to the Tarrants.
She thinks back to festive winter nights from long, long ago. They would change into new, matching outfits in front of the fireplace, leaving behind a photograph of their smiling faces. What a lovely, warm little ball of flame.
So, no. I don't care about being a shadow. But I am not your shadow. I am simply the shadow of our people's ideal leader. They want a way out, a way to get their lives back. I happened to be there and became needed by them. So why must I defeat you, sister? Not afraid of death? Please don't say that, Karen. There is nothing wrong with being afraid of dying. How tragic would it be to die at Dublin's hands before we save our fellow Tarrants? Dublin wants to save them too, you know. You're a lot more well-spoken than before. Lucky, we've still got plenty of anti-inflammatories. Did that hurt? Sorry. Ah, Reed, you're back. If we hide here tonight, we shouldn't run into any of the arts-controlled corpses again. Have you surveyed around us already? That's good. I wish we could stop a bit longer myself, but Karen's injuries aren't looking good. Hey, what's that look on you for? I still remember at the beginning, we all saw you like you were a doctor. Only later we realized you're just like all of us, wounded. Are my own wounds, serious? No, they aren't. Don't worry, your injuries can be healed. It's just, are you afraid of my fire? Of course not.
And so she reaches out to the wounded Taran in front of her. The Draco's burning anger wells within her blood. In bygone times, the Red Dragon bled for his people, one drop of his blood incinerating plains from end to end. She swallows her roiling breath. The suppressed flames scorch her. But if doing so can soothe pain, then she is willing to endure it. It is no true flame that burns in her hands, not even a flash of light. But invariably, the people are filled with the same feeling, the flowing of life, as gentle as one's eyes opening for the first time to the rays of morning.
I'm guessing by your face you're already feeling a lot better. Yeah, Reed, maybe you really are a doctor. Still, not that you work the same way other doctors do. No, what these are my own flames, at long last. May you sleep soundly tonight, Karen.
My own flames at long last. Never thought I'd see the day someone outside of the Victorian army would board a high-speed battleship. There should have been the first thing on your mind the moment you lowered the Victorian flag. I have nothing against you, Taran. I just want to see your forces' military proficiency. Plus, I'm rather curious about that leader of yours. I certainly hope the Duke's guest isn't just relying on her Draco bloodline. Your arrogance towards us seeps from your very bones, Victorian. But when she gets up on stage to give her speech, you'll find that she is the true master of the forces on the ship. I still don't get it. Are you people Dublin or not? After all, you don't dress anything like them. But regardless of who you are, you saved us from the Victorians. I'll follow you anywhere.
I'm sorry we couldn't help your friend.
It's fine, it's fine. As long as others can be saved. I suppose you can say he's still living through them.
Alright. By the way, Reed, have those people given up on hunting us? The team that was tailing us vanished fairly abruptly, but in any case, things work to our advantage. Dublin's forces should be assembled now. The Tyrants are about to make their voice heard throughout Victoria. Soldiers. The Dublin forces I'm in charge of have come from all over Victoria to join his lordship's army, and together we will fire the opening shots to the war for their survival. Up until the last few days, many people have heard of the Dublin name or have any idea what we are fighting for. Your war is picking up steam as we speak, but ours has been raging on and on over the last decade. As we speak, those flying the Tyrant banner continue to bleed. There are no words that can describe the atrocities that the Tyrants have had to endure. I have seen their streets burned to ash, their cities reduced to rubble. And yet they, who deserve everything the land can give them, met with our soldiers at risk of being executed to break their bread with us. I saw the Tyrants crying out to us in their struggles. However, their salvation has been deferred, not deceased, but entire centuries. They appeal to their great and mighty compatriots, and to their neighbors of conscience, to all those Victorians who will not be co-conspirators to tyranny. They cry out for our attentive eyes. As I speak, there are those among us who are well aware of their Tyrant blood, yet there are others who may be asking, who exactly are we going to help? Tyrants, with all the time we've spent together, we've all gotten used to using this word. But what you said never left my mind, Reed. You said the factory workers we were in lacked protective measure, so everyone would slowly come down with oripathy and waste away. Yet, the owner of the factory who drove the Tyrants to work under such dangerous conditions was himself a Tyrant. And there are so many people like you who speak bog standard Victorian. Though they were born in the same place as us, they're afraid of talking with us and revealing their accents. What exactly is a Tyrant? Who is it we're trying to save? It's been on my mind for a long time too. Do you want to hear what I think? Go on, Reed. We're not looking forward that badly to fleeing for our lives. Of course we're happy to hear you out. At this point, I might say it's the same given to the centuries of our plight. It's the name given to the centuries of our plight. In the past, Victorians spent many years trying to erase the Tyrant name. But I'm sure you can all feel it. Those ties are still there. Victorians don't call us Tyrants. They call us nasty-sounding, uncultured bumpkins, good-for-nothing rascals, ill-bred scum. Or, as many people have experienced, they strip us of our property, our land, and our rights, even the lives of our kin, all because of our common name. Some may say to us, then why not give up your language and your traditions? Why not sing the same songs as Victorians at the festivals? As long as others can't tell that we're Tyrants, we'll be able to receive the same treatment as them. Of course, there are others who may retort that even though they are Tyrants, they've earned wealth through willpower and dedication, receiving enough education to climb up into the upper class. To this I say, How ironic it is that we must throw aside our culture and betray our own name just to earn the dignity of being seen as ordinary people by them. Though some of us have achieved greatness, the first step to success invariably is to become Victorian. Duke Wellington, surely you understand this better than anyone else? How many people still remember that your heart pumps a Tyrant's blood?
The Victorian officer remains mum.
But given that Victoria is deliberately trying to strip us of our name, does that mean they've really forgotten about Tara's existence? If that were the case, then why did I, a descendant of King Gale, a surviving Draco, 200 years after the fall of the Taran kingdom, watch my parents be murdered by the Aslan assassins, left to lie in their own blood? No, they are afraid that we will remember our names and expose their lies. And I stand before you to remind you of this fact. So what you're saying is, years and years ago the Victorian nobles came to Tara to subjugate all its people? Yes, that is what the history books tell us. There is numerous fabrications about Tara, but some interspersed truths too. Victoria forcibly put King Gale into power as a monarch to the Taran region, coercing him to canonize many Victorian nobles. The unfair treatment towards Tara as a land was confined into law too. Since then, the Tarans' accent has been associated with their lowly status. The Victorians have come to see the Tarans as stupid, vulgar, and uneducated. But who will come to educate the people of Tara? In all these hundreds of years, not a single soul. The Tarans have slowly fled from their homeland, perhaps drifting through Victoria along with its nomadic cities, but never enjoyed the same rights and privileges as the Victorians. Have we ever had seats at prestigious banquets or in institutions of higher education? If there are layabouts among us, is that not because the Victorians have taken away our right to work? The injustices we've long endured were so cleverly hidden away in the lengthy years after the word Taran was expunged, but no longer. We finally understand why we have been driven to despair. There is much I know both about Tara's history, as well as about the legends spun by subsequent generations to trace Tara's origins. I can tell you about everything, true injustice, or fabricated dreams alike. But I won't speak of them. You'll all want to escape from your past lives.
Well, of course, we can't live on like this.
So, it's alright if we can't tell we're Tarans. I just think wherever the lights outshines, everyone must need a flame that burns through the night. The only thing we must find is the misfortune thrust upon us. Therefore, to fight for the Taran survival is something we must do. Right now, we are docked in Oak Grove, once a Taran community burned to ashes by a tyrant's flames. Perhaps those with keen enough eyesight will be able to see Tara's palace destroyed by a catastrophe over yonder. Such are the scars left behind on the Taran people. However, it is hardly our intent to recover Tara's ancient lands or to reconstruct our history out of its tatters. We are wanderers in a new land, and the road I wish to take you down is one of constructing a new era and a new order. This battleship's next stop will be at the port of Londinium. Naturally, we are not going to compete for Victoria's crown. We simply are taking our destiny back from the Victorians into our own hands. Our eyes are open now. We clearly see that our suffering is rooted in the dominion and servitude that Victoria imposed upon Tara. As such, we ought to let Victoria Victoria denied the legitimacy of its own past actions. The war may not end in Londinium, but surely we do not fear a long and bitter fight. The flames have already been kindled. They will burn away the ancient order of this land, taking our rotten shackles along with it. As for the new order that shall be established, I turn to all of you. I implore all of you, regardless of whether you're Taran or Victorian, regardless of who you are or where you came from, to simply fight for the glory of justice, for the unprecedented era to come. Until the Tarans are free to compose their own dreams, just as the Victorians are, nothing shall stand in our way. But, Reed, what are we fighting for? For the survival of the Tarans is simply too vague. In past times, I always thought that life was so fragile. Upon this great land, many a thing waits to take our lives from us. Everything we do is no more than a desperate struggle, a stand against death. And in the end, one from which nobody can emerge victorious. If I concern myself too much with people's lives, how would I ever be able to come face to face with the all too ubiquitous sacrifices, with the sea of unmarked graves? Yet the weight of a life is immense. That is something I can't escape from. We cannot defeat death, but we can and we should give dignity to the living. I believe that the people of Tara should have a warm fire at night and wine in their glasses when they sing their songs. There should be a day when the people of Tara no longer have to run away or bid farewell to their families and lovers. I hope for the people of Tara to have their own homeland where they can live in peace. I hope that all those who we've parted ways with will all be reunited there.
The wind rustles the reeds, and amidst their swishing, she feels the painful sear of the dancing flames. She sees that it is a stir yet distant dream. Perhaps not a single person standing here will be here to see that day come.
Dublin's flames will burn this land. Surely it will be harrowing. Thousands upon thousands of lives, nothing more than fuel for the flames of war. But even then, the weight of a life cannot ever be diminished. Let's go. We are a part of it too. Oh, right, I got a letter from home yesterday. They're all alive and well. Maybe when we get back from war, they'll be doing even better. Lost for words again, Moran. Sorry, I couldn't help wondering to myself, what should living life be like? Well, how about starting with a song? Go on, you might as well. Nobody's after our heads for once. By the firelight of homely heart I sleep. Oh, Jesus. By the firelight of homely heart I sleep, dreaming of honey, rum and stew. Say, Reed, what are you gonna do if we end up siding with Dublin? Don't worry. There's no difference between her and I. We're both trying to realize the same single dream for the Taran people. When that day comes, I will go and see her.
Alright, and one more thing to cover. Stage ST-3, titled A Sob. The wheels of war leave tracks in the mud, drowning out all sounds. A broadcast over the radio. Course set. This is observed. Wayside station will allow passage. Incoming telegram from Viscount Dawson. They would like to use this journey as an opportunity to meet with the Dublin representative. More nobles coming over to our side.
Don't you worry, the leader won't deign to make them any statements. Do they think a simple show of friendliness would earn them a guarantee of peace from Dublin? A town population kept in check? I say at some point, they need to learn what constitutes true sincerity.
The leader is still sending you to negotiate.
Perhaps I should fritter away some more time, at least enough that people forget about me.
Good to hear. You've made your share of errors by my standards.
Well, since you came back to report on your lonesome, I take it you haven't caught Loughshinny yet?
Don't ask rhetorical questions. You hindered my ranks in their search, only to then leak her prior trail to my men. Not exactly a smart way to save someone in your case.
And how do you know it wasn't you I was saving? You know, I don't recall the leader ever saying anything about executing her. Do you?
The leader did allow her to roam free. The leader also allowed me to deal with her at my own discretion. Don't blame me for being harsh on your friend, Harmonie. In these times, no one in their right mind would let a Draco act freely in Victoria.
Oh, never you mind that. I don't think we were ever that close anyway. And you see, I'm about to pay a visit to that medical organization she was holding up in. Maybe, just maybe, I'll be the first to get her.
Wait, a building in a way. Blast this lowly visibility. How was this not foreseen? Who signed off on navigation plans? Which team was on survey yesterday? It's too late for the fleet to turn. Check for any presence of personnel in the building. Excellent. Brick and wooden construction, small enough not to pose a threat to the ship's threads. Continue on course.
Oh, would you look at that? Another tiny mistake.
There are always sacrifices to be made in war.
Yes, I gather what you mean, but listen, I have my own sense of discretion. Loughshinny, as a sacrifice, I say that might be too high a price to pay. The blood of the Draco still flows in her veins, you see. She remains ever so useful, even with a ripapy. Even with a ripapy.
Yes, I did not bring her back. She has no resolve to fight, but is plenty capable of fleeing. Further to which, we pursue her tracks to where the old Terran palace stood. The fires within the ruins have gone out. Becoming infected may have changed her originium arts.
You seem to think it was a ripaphy that made her stronger. Huh, of course not. She's my sister. It would be disappointing if she couldn't even hold her own. Tell me, who's with her?
A few vagrants. She calls herself the leader before them.
Then there's no need to follow her. Since she has at least awakened and became aware of her powers as a Draco, she will return to me soon.
Meanwhile,
are you sure the long-haul truck passed through here? Aye, I hitched one of them when I fled Victoria. Backpap? Do you remember when I asked you what the truth you wanted was and what you wanted to do after learning it? Because you knew things would turn out this way. Most things that happen in Victoria end up as a power struggle like this. You could say, but it's never the same people involved each time. My feelings still haven't changed. I have to submit my report. I just wonder, you know, when will any part of Victoria truly accept it? What can I even do, personally speaking, to speed up that process? You still want to change Victoria after all this? It amazes me how you're so... So what? Stupid? Stubborn? So strong. Come on, Shen. That's what we've always been friends. That's why we've always been friends now. Fixate on a goal and don't change it easy. Not me, not you, not my leader. Huh. Doesn't seem like a compliment when it's from you. And I've been thinking, these days anyway, who's to say someone else's dream can't be achieved, right?
The radio that she got from Fionn suddenly emits some white noise.
You're still holding on to that thing Fionn gave you? Aye, what's wrong with that? Let me do it. It's an old radio, and I don't want you to turn it into scrap metal. There we go.
And over the radio. The attention of all citizens. The conflict in Londinium between Victoria and Kassel continues to escalate. War has, followed by static, broken out. The Duke of Wellington, static. We ask you, make war preparations. Yes, I'm driving back. I noted nothing unusual during my recon assignment. The office I used for my last identity? You needn't worry. I'll erase all trails as soon as I return. Of course, I'll accept promotion from the Duke, if all goes according to plan. I don't plan to hide it. I'll have abandoned my personal identity and face. By that point, whatever I say to you now under my current guise doesn't matter, does it? I think I'll get off and take a little walk. Oh, sir, would you like a wooden doll? I've brought some from a village on the other side of the river. The woman who makes them, excellent craft. Bless her old heart. No, thank you. Oh, alright, excuse me. Are you from around here? Why do you ask? Just thought you looked familiar. Really, I'm sorry, I just settled down. I still don't know the people around here all too well. I'm Fionn, peddler of wares. Let me know if you want to buy or sell anything, and I'll sort it for you. I live right there, see? That house just finished yesterday. It's a little far from the village, but I like it here right next to the road. Or, there's your car, I see. Do I have the wrong person? Oh, sorry for bothering you and all. I won't keep you any... At a massive rumbling, they both turn around. A huge shadow looms on the horizon, the earth trembling beneath their feet. Oh, what's that sound? No, what's that? An army? Yesterday, 400 kilometers away, I signed off on a reconnaissance mission scouting this force. What are you talking about? All along, I've been on the belief that with this militant vice grip, the Iron Duke is our greatest enemy. With his support, Dublin will incite hatred amongst the population, dragging innocent people into riot and even outright war. We must find a way to check his power. Hundreds if not thousands of lives hinge upon my every move. But as for the moment... He could not let out a sound if he tried. Rumble, rumble. The battlefield, led by a grand high-speed battleship, sails along its set course. This is the territory of Duke Castor. She has silently assented to all this, assented to war passing through her roads and across Victoria. Flee, Taran. You built your house in the wrong place. Why? This belt remains the territory of Duke Castor. The boundary is vague, and you have yet to cross it. The Marquess of Trent did not switch over to the Duke of Wellington's side come the conclusion of negotiations.
Moreover, pressure on the Tarans is set to increase once again. Perhaps you'll sight those brutal patrol squads again in the next 2 days. Perhaps they haven't forgotten the appearance of your name in the case files. Did he mistake the Duke's intentions? Is he simply another pawn sacrificed in this war? None of us know the answer. And if we did, that lone hut would not be built in the wrong place. What are you going on about? Wait, I remember you. You're the one who came after us back then. What are you trying to... Fisher does not answer. He simply turns, gets back in the car, and starts the engine. Behind him, the sound of the tiny brick hut collapsing and the plaintive cry of the villager are drowned out in the deep cacophony of the battleship at the head.
Theon cannot catch a break. Rip your house, buddy. But anyway, this will be it for the narration of this story. Its conclusion for now. We shall see how this continues, if it will feed directly into the next main story or the main story chapter afterwards, but we will see. Without spoiling anything, I can say that there is a lot of forces going into Londinium. If you've read the story so far taking place in Londinium and thought that Londinium is a powder keg that exploded, oh boy. With everything coming in, oh boy. That so far was only a firecracker. When everybody clashes in Londinium, it's gonna be a massacre. Oh god, that's gonna be definitely a story. Anyhow, all I can say here is, first and foremost, thank you all for listening and watching these narrations. If you like this episode, please consider leaving a like. They help me and mean a lot to me, and obviously helping the algorithm battles to be recognized more. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. There's a lot more stuff like this narrated on the channel. Pretty much almost everything at this point when it comes to side stories. Main story is completely done for now, until the next chapter comes out. And almost every side story outside of a handful, I think it's like 3 or 4 actual side stories, and I think 3 or 4 as well vignette stories. So almost everything is covered, and eventually everything will be. But yeah, anyway, thank you very much. But I will talk a bit about characters and stuff here at the end, so if you're not gonna leave, feel free to listen. Oh boy, so anyway, when it comes to this story, definitely a good one. Definitely a good one. Watching Reed grow as a character throughout the story was very, very good. I will not lie, that was a very good aspect of this story. And her facing off against her very own shadow there was also very good. That was pretty neat. I was wondering, like I said, I was wondering what we're gonna be fighting as a boss in these maps. I was wondering how we're gonna fight Eblana, considering I was like, okay, she definitely has to be like the end boss or something else surprisingly different than her. But okay, Reed fighting the pretty much her own negative emotions to some degree, her own doubt in herself, trying to stop herself and moving on, was very good. That whole sequence was pretty good, especially the sequence that we just went over as well right after that, which was the parallels in the speech given by both Reed to the people with her and Eblana given to the masses as well. There was so much overlap. You can really tell that both of them both of them are definitely delivering the same message, but the intentions are definitely different, like massively different. And yeah, very good. I love shit like that. I love when a story has like pretty much the same protagonist of sorts, but the protagonist and antagonist are doing the same thing, yet they are trying to do it through different means. Nice. And when it comes to the supporting cast, well, first off, Shen and Bagpipe. I mean, I have nothing else to say about Shen and Bagpipe. They are Shen and Bagpipe. They are majorly good characters, just in general. However, it was very, very nice to see Bagpipe not be her normal, usual, quirky, smiley self, and actually lash out at someone, like angrily lash out at someone. That was actually good, and I appreciate that. Showing a bit more character to her, that she isn't just the thing that you see at first glance. Very good. When it comes to others, Harmonie, really can't say much about her outside of Smug Cat. However, I'll say this. I love that the story actually did put down some moments where she got scared stiff or just was left speechless. Like, she always has that confidence around her, sort of, aka Smug Cat. But seeing her actually retract at 2 points during the story was actually brilliant. Quite honestly. The first time when at the party she heard that Loughshinny might actually be nearby, and she just the facial expression betraying her emotions at that point, amazing. And then later on, even though it's kind of like a moment, but, well, not really moment, but still the Brigadier raising his voice and reeling her in to tell her to essentially just shut the hell up. And she just panics, sweat on her face. Nice. You can tell that she might be smart and potentially has some strength in her, but she knows when she should shut up. She knows. Reed's sister, Eblana. I don't know yet what to say about her outside of... I have a dumb feeling that everything she is doing, she's not doing actually for the Tarans, but maybe... This is just speculation, by the way. But maybe doing just for her sister. Like, I have a dumb feeling that all of the things she has been doing so far have not been done for herself and the Taran population, but, well, slightly maybe for the Taran population, but I think her major drive is to push her sister forward, to become the actual leader, maybe. Speculation. But yeah, so far I don't really have much to say about her outside of that she is definitely ruthless. She's definitely ruthless. She will exterminate anything that seems to be a hindrance. So okay, let's see how that goes. When the Dracos meet, that's gonna be a thing. And yeah, already said stuff about about Reed, and her character growth was very good to see during this chapter. Supporting cast wise, it was nice to see Williams again. No lie, I was very surprised to actually see him in this story. Even though it was a flashback, still, it was very nice. I still find it sad how the man had to literally be snuffed out prior, but oof. Now, the one thing that I did get surprised by the story was actually the person who would die in the chapter. I was expecting someone to die. Honestly, my bet from the beginning, as more and more characters start to go in, around the middle, my bet was that it's gonna be either Fionn or Moran. Especially Moran, who got pumped up to be like, oh, everybody, well, people might know her from her past as a singer. She's a very heartfelt woman, yada yada. You know, it's a good person, and you don't want to see the good person suffer or die. Fion kind of fulfills the same kind of category as her as well, as he proclaimed and told Reed, yes, everything, well, him and the other people running was basically because he smacked a Taran soldier over his head. Sorry, not Taran soldier, a Victorian soldier over his head because he was brutally beating a young girl and he couldn't stand it anymore, so he lashed out. Which you cannot fault the man for it. To have done something like that, he was protecting someone, but yeah, his actions caused some major consequences to everybody else. And yeah, at least he confined in that. He also kind of grew as a character through the whole thing, which was, again, great. So many characters actually in this side story grew as people, which is interesting to actually look at. But yeah, I was expecting either him or Boren or both of them to actually perish in some kind of kerfuffle. I'm actually surprised that it was Salmon. I thought that she would actually live and go... Well, at first I thought she would definitely leave them and go to Dublin, but then as things were advancing and she was warming up to Reed, that she would stay with Reed, but... Okay, she died in the conflict in the woods. Holy hell. That was not expected. At least for me it was not expected. Then characters that appeared only a tiny bit, the Duke of Castor and the Duke of Wellington. Can't really say much about them. They seem to be conspiring. The Wellington guy is pretty much just the military guy who, I don't know. He's the military dude. He's the old military dude. So far, that's the only thing I have for him. The Duke of Castor, definitely shrewd. She's definitely planning stuff way ahead of time. So let's see how that shit ends. And then the Brigadier. Oh boy, that guy definitely is powerful. And I do wonder what's gonna happen with him later on. Is he gonna live through the next conflict? Or is he gonna die in some clash in the future? Would be very interested to see what happens to him. And yeah, I think this covers the entire whole thing. Outside of the fact, I feel like I learned a lot of Irish, and I'm probably gonna forget every single one of them. Oh, quick little side note, I keep forgetting to mention it. But in the first episode I wasn't sure what a sentence, or rather a part of a sentence, meant when it was said. That being in Anim Day, because I couldn't find anything, but for some reason when after or around when I was recording part 2 of this narration, I suddenly found out what the phrase means, and actually got it also kind of confirmed by an Irish friend of mine. Basically, in Anim Day translates to "for goodness sake." That was what the guy said at the beginning. Don't know why at the beginning I couldn't find the word itself, but whatever. Doesn't matter. Found out anyway. But yeah, Jesus Christ, so many Irish words. Ugh. Was dying halfway through through the recordings, Jesus, trying to find out every single one of those. Anyway, it was fun. You live and learn, as the saying goes, right? But yeah, anyway, I think this would be it for today. Once again, thank you all for watching and listening these videos, leaving likes, and welcome to the new subscribers. And yeah, let's see what happens next. Not sure what's gonna be on the channel for the rest of the week. I still have a couple of operator records to open up and read. Harmonie is amongst them, which is gonna be up probably in a day or two from when this episode goes up. I still need to farm out like 15%, I think, on her for the what's it called, for the trust to be 50%, and I need to E2 her, of course, so that's another thing. But that's kind of easy. But yeah, hers needs to go up, and who's left? Oh, May, right, that's why she's here. But yeah, she also has to go, hers has to go up, and then we're gonna be done. For the rest of the week, I'll see what I'm gonna be putting up. I do have a couple of modules that are left over from the last week's upload, so probably those along the lines, but yeah, we'll see. And as well, if there's gonna be any extra additions to like extra cutscene or something during the EX stages, which I don't think for this story there will be, but in case there will be, expect like always there to pop up like a bonus episode later down the line. Outside of that, this is the last one, of course. But yeah, anyway, thank you very much for listening. Like I said, I hope you have a fantastic day wherever you are, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, bye bye.